Welcome to the Lessons from Sports podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Partello. On this episode, I talked to somebody who has taken their love, which is bulldogs, and their business, personal injury attorney, and brought them together. Dan Fulkerson has harnessed and truly understands what matters to him. And in the last few years, getting to spend a little bit of time with Dan, getting to know Dan a little bit more recently, I thought it'd be amazing to bring him in and talk about his business and his philosophy and going after what really matters to him, but also the adjacency to sports and his love of sports and how it all comes together. So I'm fired up for you to hear this conversation with my guy, Dan Fulkerson.
All right. So this one's going to be fun because this is a guy that I've just started to get to know really well, but like have admired from afar for a long time, had an early introduction. Dan Fulkerson, thanks so much for being here with us today.
It's a pleasure, man. It's great to be here.
Who are you? Who do we have with you here? Always a bulldog in the lap.
Always a bulldog. I got Gigi with me today. We're in Boise, Idaho at our office in Boise. Gigi took the flight with me yesterday. So she's one of 5 rescues. One of them's always with me at some point in time.
That's amazing. Yeah. And those who follow me know I have a Frenchie as well. And Dan was like a huge catalyst in watching. As I said, I watched you. I was a fan from afar, friend from afar. Like we have some mutual friends and watching how much fun you had with these dogs. And I'm like, I need one of those in my life. And you're a storyteller and evangelist for these dogs. It's amazing.
If I can help more people get bulldogs, I've done what I was supposed to do on this earth. I was just at our mutual friend Frankie's wedding, and Frankie, who was like trying to be a hard ass and like, I'm not going to get a dog. Now he's got a Frenchie, and this dude's like blowing the dog kisses in the middle of the ceremony. I'm like, bro, you're so soft now because of this dog. Great.
They change you. It's unbelievable. 100%. He changed my whole family dynamic. My guy Mojo is the best. But Dan, if you don't mind, give a little bit of intro to who you are, your story. I know it, but it'd be great for everybody to hear from you.
Yeah, so Dan Fulkerson, I'm kind of known as the bulldog attorney. We run Batta Fulkerson Law Group, which is a personal injury firm. We have our office in San Diego. We have an office in Boise, Idaho. All we do is help people that are, victims of accidents. But what I like to do and what my passion is when I'm not a lawyer, I'm rescuing bulldogs. So I have a bulldog rescue. We rescue French and English bulldogs. I have 5 of my own. That's why the dogs are the mascot. That's why they come everywhere. And, that's what we built the brand around.
And you have the bulldog building downtown. That was something you said to me at one point. Like, my goal is that kids will be like, there's the bulldog. And now my kids do that when we fly into San Diego, that there's the bulldog.
It's the bulldog building. And it's funny you say that, because the way that I had the vision of the bulldog building is you're a kid and you're in the back seat riding around in your parents' car. You're looking at landscape and landmarks a lot differently than as an adult, right? Like you're always like, oh, there's the blue building. And I wanted this to be the bulldog building. I wanted it to be where you're driving by the building with your kids and that's what they're doing. They're going, there's the bulldog building. And it worked 100%
what my kids do. Like if we go to like a Padres game or whatever, they're waiting for it to be like, there it is. It's amazing. Yep. Great work.
It's like the back in the day where they had the cereal commercials that were all marketing to kids just to get the parents to buy the cereal.
Yep.
Same thing.
I love it. Yeah. And what's funny is with like the way you've gone about it is, I always joke, I have a joke with my team is you never take brand advice from a lawyer, but you're an incredible brand guy. Like you get it, you understand it, which is amazing. And kudos to you. Obviously, I know I got a bulldog care kit one day, and when I got my Frenchie, it was all your merch. And a buddy of mine who's also a personal injury attorney lives in the neighborhood, and he was like, dude, what are you doing walking around with the competition on your shirt? And then he joked. He's like, I love Dan. That's the best, dude. It's awesome.
I know your buddy, and it's all love. That's the nice thing. There's definitely a competition, but with most of us that are on the same page, there's not. It's just like what you do. There's plenty for everyone. That's the way I've always looked at it.
That's exactly right. I was with somebody the other day, and we were laughing about, I've lived in Boston, Miami, and here, and the way I explained the difference of each city is when I was in Boston and you were doing a deal, you wanted to beat the other side. You wanted to win. You wanted to attack. And in Miami, you just wanted to look like you won. Like, it just needed to look like you won. Like, I don't care who wins, just as long as it looks like I won. And then in San Diego, it was like, how can we get this over as fast as possible? Like, there's plenty to do here. Like, we're all good. Let's just move on.
What it is. That's what it is. And it's like, I see the difference in LA, even in my industry, how sharky and cutthroat it is. Like, that's why I don't venture up there, because it's just not my energy, my vibe. I don't want anything to do with that.
And I also think a place like San Diego is special because I think it attracts those people. So it starts to build this community of like everybody here, most people here have that same mentality of like, man, we've already won. Like, we live here. This is amazing.
There's just a different vibe with people in San Diego. Like, you really do find people that you can truly connect with, that it's not like just a surface level connection.
Yeah. And so it's funny when I go into these, I don't know what lesson you're going to share. I don't know. I do know, in watching you build your brand, you've built in a lot of sports partnerships. You've done some deals with teams. You're doing some things. So obviously you see sports as an avenue that it kind of tells me that sports is a part of your life. You know, what's been your sort of experience with sports through your life?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up playing baseball. I grew up playing basketball. Basketball is still my sport. I still try to play twice a week, like old man, let's just go out for a sweat and not get injured type basketball now. But that's still like something that's a big passion in my life. And I just think that people click with sports. Like, and I will say this, it is bread and circuses, and I'm aware that it's bread and circuses, but the masses like bread and circuses. So, when you are marketing, to be able to yourself to brands that people personally connect with is a strong thing for a lot of businesses to be able to do. That brand association works. And so we've had a great thing with the Padres. We do Padres radio, and I started that because my law partner's name is Batta, so it's Batta Fulkerson, and I thought it'd be funny if they were doing "Hey Batta Batta" on the radio commercials. And so that's how it all started, and we got some good business from it, so we just kept it rolling. But we do that. We do, and a lot of it's personal relationships, right? Like, I'm a big believer in building a business around my personal relationships and the people in my life that I'm connected with and love.
Absolutely.
And we have a mutual friend, Patrick Kelly, who does Strike Force Arena Football. He came to me and was like, hey, would you get involved? I would have never done it but for Patrick, but for a friend, of course, so got involved with that. I got a buddy named Jason Stewart that runs Epic Fighting in San Diego, and he sent me some referrals. I'm not allowed to give non-attorneys referral fees, so I can support their business. And so that's what I've always done. It's just like, you're going to refer me cases. How can I support you and your business? And so we've sponsored Epic Fighting for the last, I think, 6 years, which has been a lot of fun. And yeah, it's just, for me, I love the brand awareness game. I'm not a huge call to action guy, and I'm aware of the downfalls of not doing that, but I don't want to be the solicitous ambulance chaser. Like, I don't want that reputation. I want to be the bulldog guy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
No, I love that, because we're in different industries, but we're a type of industry, both of us, that you don't need us until you need us. Right?
Exactly.
Like, you don't need your services until the day, unfortunately, that you do need your services. And you need that awareness of like, who do I call? Oh, I know who to call. Same with us in like the marketing and branding space. Like, not every business needs to take a look at their brand at this given moment. And so what and that's been a big thing for us, is like just being awareness of like, hey, I'm the storyteller. Like, I'm the guy who's going to tell that story for you. I'm going to figure out what you want to be. And I think that's the biggest thing, of just being top of mind when it's needed, and that people go, you know what? He hasn't been just banging the drum for business this whole time. He's just been doing really good things. You do amazing things in the community. I see it all. Like, I got to go to one of your Friday events, and like, I love but I think that, especially in a community like San Diego, where people respond to the folks who have been here, giving back, being part of things, not just slapping a logo on things. Like, you're truly integrated into the sponsorships that you have.
And it's interesting because San Diego is a unique community. Some communities you can go in and just do like that, blitzkrieg advertising, and it works, and people will get behind it, and you get calls. San Diego does not work that way. Like, it is a local community. It is a 6 degrees of separation community. They know when you're an outsider. And I've watched it with other law firms, national law firms. A few of them in the last couple of years have tried to come in and enter the San Diego market.
I lost you. Hold on one
market.
second. Just pause for a second. I lost you. All good.
Oh, they were back.
Got it.
Throwing a lot of money because Patrick's calling. Thrown a lot of money at the San Diego market and not been successful. And now they're pulling out and they're realizing like it's not a money thing. And it's not. Like, I don't spend a ton of money on marketing and advertising. I spend it very strategically, but I'm not the firm that's spending $100,000 a month. It works. We're busier than we've ever been, but still, even with all the marketing, 75, 80% of the cases, word of mouth.
Yeah. But that word of mouth, I mean, to be fair, like when I worked on the advertising side and the radio side, we'd always say like word of mouth comes from awareness, right? Like it's like, it's like that reinforcement of messaging that you know, I may see you on Instagram and then I, you know, do these things like for our business, you know, we don't spend money on advertising. It is all what we consider, you know, word of mouth. But I tell it, you know, it's off of, you know, digital networking, right? Digital storytelling around LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram of people being like, oh, Wayne does that, or hey, Dan's the guy, like, you know, and it's like, you know, I may not follow you, but my friend does, and then I have an injury. They're like, you got to call my guy Dan. Like,
well, and it's also in a sense, it's almost programmed, right? Like when people see a bulldog now, they associate it with me, which is hilarious because it's like we live in San Diego. There's bulldogs everywhere, so you literally have people just sending me pictures of random bulldogs, and they're like, oh, it's like. So it's just so funny because it's like someone gets in an accident and then they see a Frenchie and they're like, oh, gotta call Dan.
Yeah, that's amazing. Way to attach yourself to an incredible visual. I love it. Well, okay, so you played sports, you've been around sports, you do sports deals, you're working with teams. Is there one lesson that you take away from that you've really applied to your life because I know you and like the relationship that we have is I know that like you go after what actually you're passionate about and the things that you care about and the people you care about. Like you're very grounded in that. Like what from the world of sports has been the thing that's really helped you achieve that success and happiness?
Team over everything. It is. I'm not successful because of me. Like it's actually not me. We built an amazing team. We have amazing attorneys. We have amazing staff. They love what they do. They treat our clients the right way. They go get amazing results. We could not do what we do, and we couldn't have built what we built without the team. I am actually a very small part of that, and the wins should not be credited to me. And I think that there's so much ego and bravado in so many people, and it's like eventually you're going to realize that comes from insecurity. That can be a downfall. That's going to get in your way. I don't want to be, I hate when people say like, well, that's my boss. Like, I'm not your boss. Like we're lucky that we get to work together. Like that. I'm lucky that I get to work with you. It sends like chills down my spine when I hear boss because I'm not anyone's boss. Like it is a full team unit win. When we take a loss as a team. That's my biggest takeaway from sports. It's not about me.
I love that. It's so funny you say the word boss. This is just an aside and a hilarious story, but when I worked for the Dolphins, I had been given some coaching that I'm a friendly guy, right? I want everybody to love me. I love to be loved. And I was trying to elevate my career. My boss sat me down and said, hey, your career is going in the right direction, but you're perceived as like one of the guys, one of the friends, and like, you got to elevate yourself a little bit. I'm like, okay. So I pull my team in. I'm like, listen, we're all boys. I got you. But here's the deal. Like, I've got to give this perception that I'm going to be the boss. One of my guys was just so literal. He's like, you got it, boss. I'm like, no. You don't have to call me boss. I just need you to like, we're on the floor. And literally he got the whole team. That's all they called my entire final 2 years of the Dolphins. My entire team was like, you got it, boss. And I'm like, you guys are the biggest jerks in the world. Like to this day, they'll text me like, what's up, boss? Just to mess with me.
I love it.
It's so, because it's exactly the same. Like I love to lead within the team and like rally and let's go. And I'm not above or below, or we're all in this together. I love that lesson because you're right. So many people ascend to a position of power and go about it just completely the right, especially today with the younger generation. Like they don't want that at all. Like it's very clear. Like the motivation that they get is from feeling part of something bigger than themselves. And it's powerful.
For sure. And there, there's like a sense of entitlement for it. And it's like, I've been in this game for 15 years, like working 6 days a week. Like, and even then, like, I'm not above anything. Like, I'll take out the trash. I don't want someone like that's it. Do the worst job in your office, do the best job in your office, just do the job right. Like that's the way that I look at it.
That is, dude, we're so similar in that. Like, I'd rather my team be doing the bigger things and not have to worry about like the taking out of the trash or any of those, because that's where they excel. And I had a boss, his big thing was 80%, right? Like you don't need to get everything to 100, get it. If you can get people that are 80% of you, you're now multiplying yourself out versus trying to get one person to 100%. It's just, everybody's got their own unique skills. Don't try to make, you everywhere, but instill your values, instill your, the principles that made you successful. And that's how you build out a team. And I've seen you do it. It's incredible and beyond impressive. So congrats, dude. It's awesome.
I appreciate it. And I think a lot of that, we talk about ego, a lot of that people don't want to hire people that are better than them. Mm-hmm. They're worried about like that light get shine somewhere else, or for whatever reason, that insecurity that you have to hire people better than you. You should be hiring, everyone you hire should be better than you at something. Like I learned that from Jeff Fenster, who we were just talking about, talks about that all the time. He's like, I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm really bad at, and I'm going to hire great people for the things I'm bad at that are a lot better than me. That's how you build a great business. That's how you're successful.
That's confidence, right? Like that is the core of everything in leadership, is that, and I'm right there with you. And I'll be honest, I worked in the sports industry. You want to talk about ego and insecurity, right? You've got a ton of people who are trying to prove themselves for all the wrong reasons, but that's okay. It's a whole nother story. But like me being very confident in my abilities and very aware of like my deficiencies, which there are plenty of those. And it was like, all right, I'm going to fill the holes with like incredibly talented people that are like, I always joke, like I can design something on a sketch pad. I have designers that are just geniuses. Like I draw lines, and then next thing you know, what comes back is magic. And I'm like, I'm not a designer. Like, why would I even pretend? And like, I don't need to get in that space. I go out and find incredible people. And I love that, dude. That is a great thing. Well, we have to transition into, you're a lawyer. In the world of sports, we sit in coaches go on the hot seat. We all go on the hot seat. This is, I'm sure many a times, I know.
Put me on.
Let's go. We're going to turn up the heat.
I'm ready.
Okay. Rapid fire questions. Favorite team you cheer for?
Favorite team, any sport.
Any sport.
That's honestly a tough question for me, because I'm not a big sports guy. I don't cheer for the Chargers. I cheer against the Chargers now. I'll put that out there right now. I would say, I guess if I'm cheering for anyone, it's probably the Padres at this point in time.
Okay.
Hometown, it's the one team that we got right now, so I'll go with Padres.
Yeah. No, listen, and what has been, the effort that has been put in over there to build a championship team, it hasn't happened yet, but the effort's there. The organization's putting the best foot forward to try to build. And look, there's 45,000 people at Petco Park almost every given night right now. It's incredible to watch.
Greatest ballpark in the country. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, it's incredible, and it's a fun team to cheer for, and they continue to improve everything around that team, and it's awesome for everybody here in San Diego. Happiest moment since starting your own business?
When we opened the office, opening that office was the most surreal thing to me. Like it just didn't even feel like it was ours. It still does. I still walk in there and I'm like, how did this even happen? That's by far the most surreal, happiest moment.
How many years were you in business before you were able to do that?
We bought it 4 years in. We had to gut the whole thing. Moved in a year later.
Wow.
So 5 years after opening, we opened that office, and just it's our forever home. It's already full, so we got to figure out a plan B. So We're looking for another space right now. Never thought we would have filled that up in 4 years, but here we are, which is a blessing for sure. But yeah, that's by far the happiest moment.
That's awesome. Most bulldogs you've had in your possession at one time?
8.
8 in your place, living with you.
6 of my own, 2 rescues in my house, 8 at one time.
English to Frenchie, how many of each at that time?
3. That time was 5 English, 3 French.
Really?
Yeah, 5 English, 3 French.
Did you start with English bulldogs or French bulldogs?
Started with English. I bought one when I was drunk at San Diego State when I was 21 years old in the middle of the night. And 3 days later, the dog showed up, changed my life.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Woke up the next morning, like, what did I spend $2,000 on last night? And then was like, oh, shit, I bought a dog. And dog showed up 3 days later.
Wow. Like, where was it, like Craigslist or whatever? Like, where did you?
Oh, bro, I should have got scammed. I remember, like, I was looking like they'd requested, like, I'd sent an email on one. They'd requested a Western Union. I didn't do that one and ended up, like, transacting with another guy that was a breeder out of Ohio. And that's where I got Stella. And I should have got a horrible dog that was, like, not bred well and had health issues. This little girl lived till 17 years old. Like,
Stop.
I just lost her a couple years ago. English Bulldog, 17 years old. I just lost her 2 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
She's the mascot. She's the logo. She was the star.
The everything. That's amazing. I did not know that. See, this is so fun for me. Okay. Next is worst job you've ever had.
I mean, the worst job, I think, is manual labor. Like, I used to clean horse stalls. Like, I grew up on a farm. My mom owns a horse ranch. Like, camping fence poles to build fences in 100-degree heat. No thank you. Like, that manual labor, there's no bad day in the office. I'll do office work all day long before you put me in 110-degree heat doing manual labor. So that's the worst job.
Yep. I'm right there with you. Favorite vacation spot?
I'm a staycation guy. You give me a week and you just let me sit in my house and let me read books and let me just relax. I'll take that all day. But if I'm going to say a favorite vacation spot, I'd say where there's a place in Minnesota. We call it encampment. It's on Lake Superior. My family's had a cabin there for generations. They go there once a year. That's kind of my getaway.
That's awesome. We're going to Minnesota in a couple of weeks. We're doing 50 states. I told you, we're trying to do all 50 states with the kids, and we're checking Minnesota off the list in a couple of weeks. I love that. I thought it was going to be a Carnival cruise with Frankie V. No, that didn't make the list.
Yeah, we've done that. I don't know if we need to do that again.
We checked that box as well. Thanks, Frankie. Appreciate it.
That's a one-time thing.
Thank you, Frankie. We really appreciate it. I know he's going to be watching this. I love it. Okay. This is a tough question.
I'm ready.
Who's your favorite dog right now?
Oh, see, that's like asking kids. I'll answer it honestly. I got a little Frenchie named Teddy. Teddy's like my soul dog. Like, he goes everywhere with me. I brought Gigi for a change. Teddy's come to Boise several times. Gigi's never come, so switched it up. Teddy's my favorite.
Yeah, no, I had a guess. If I could write down it, I mean, there's a lot of Teddy content on your Instagram. So
Teddy wins.
Okay. Of all the sponsorships and deals that you've done, what's your favorite one that you've enjoyed the most?
Oh, that's easy. I do, because of Frankie, I do Make Happiness Happen on Channel 933. And it's not like a big, like, ROI, like, I don't know how much money we've made off of it, but it's literally every week we're reaching out to the community and seeing someone who needs help and what we can do to make them happy. And I'm funding the happiness part of it. Like, whether it's, we've helped a family who lost their father and was a single mom of 4 kids. We redid their backyard, put in a playground. Flood victims, we're working on something right now for the San Diego flood victims. There's still 500 families that are out of their house that are going to be homeless at the end of the month, trying to figure that out. Like, doing stuff like that. Like that, what's better than that? Like, what's going to be more impactful than that? So Make Happiness Happen. Thank you, Frankie and Gina, for letting me be a part of it for so many years. It's been great.
Yeah, it's, I had Frankie on early when I started this project, and we talk about him a lot because, when I moved here, I didn't know anybody. And I thanked him about a year in, and I'm like, I just want to say thank you. Like, moving to a city where you know nobody and having a network of friends, right? Like, at the beginning, you're just meeting these people, but they become your friends, and you're like, it's such a blessing. And he was so giving. And as were all of you guys, of like, hey man, like, we know you're new here. Like, this is what you do. And even just bumping into stuff and needing to reach out to people, having that network of Frankie's just an incredible connector of humans.
He really is. And I mean, that's how I met you. That's how I met Patty. That's how I met Malik, for better or for worse.
Like, you got me mid-sip. I almost spit that out. I love that. Okay, next one is the first person you call after a big win.
It's changed over time. Was my mom. I still call my mom.
Sure.
Still my mom. Now I call Amber every time, like a big win, but it's also Paul. Like my law partner and I are best friends. Like I tell people this all the time. Like, yeah, it's great. You can start a business on your own. You can do it on your own. But doing it with someone is so much more rewarding. Like being able to share the wins with someone, being able to do it with someone that's like one of your best friends. It's the best part.
I say to Katie, who's my partner, I'll text her, or we'll be on the phone, like catching up late at night. And I'll be like, we're doing it. We're really doing it. And it's like, this is unbelievable. And I don't know if you're like me. I need that accountability partner. Like for me, I realized that if I had done this on my own, it was when I met my wife that I realized I needed to push harder to try and get her. You know, I was trying to win for her. For me, I was content, right? I'm naturally happy and naturally content. But, you know, it was that trying to make sure I didn't let her down is what motivated me to keep pushing. And now having that business partner, it's the same thing. Are you self-driven, or does having that accountability partner really make a difference for you?
I'm very self-driven, so I don't really need the accountability. But what I need is a catalytic converter. Like I need someone that's like, okay, you got to pump your brakes a little bit, right?
Okay.
Like, because I'll just do all the crazy shit.
Yeah.
And Paul's there to go like, okay, I like this. This is a good idea, but maybe we should think about this. And then I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Like I as Paul calls it, quote unquote, I go rogue. And it works in a lot of ways, but there are times where I need that yin to my yang to go like, hey, let's look at this from another angle and see if this is truly the best way to do it. So it's a catalytic converter. And Paul and I are such different personalities that's why it works. What he does, I don't want to do. What I do, he doesn't want to do. And so it's a good compliment.
Yeah, that's the magic, I think, when you can both know your strengths and both know and realize that you are that complement to each other. Like we're the exact same way. I don't want to do what she does, and I've done it. I just don't enjoy. It's not my favorite thing to do. And she's like, yeah, no, I don't want to be on camera doing stupid things all day. Like I want to actually work.
It's not where she adds value. It's not where you add value.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of a good partnership. Like then you get to go do every day the things that you want to do every day.
It's magic. I mean, that is, I mean, you worked in other places before having your own business. There is that magic of like, today I'm going to do what I want to do and I'm enjoying what I do every day. And listen, it's not rainbows and sunshine every day, right? We have to get in the shit from time to time, but you're still as a whole going, it's a good day. Like I'm having a good day.
Oh, I wake up every day like, let's go. Like every day. Like, I really do. No alarm clock. I'm ready. Like, I love what I do. I love my life. And it's a blessing to be in that position because it's not ever.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. All right, let's do who wins one-on-one? You?
I don't care. Tell me. I'm taking.
You or Frankie V?
Oh, come on, bro. We taught Frankie how to dribble. Like, he's not even. Yeah, no. Frankie's not scoring on.
Okay.
11-0.
Okay. I like that challenge.
11-0.
We're going to put that out there. I love that. 11-0. You take him down. I love
Frankie's
that.
not scoring.
All right. Last one is first thing you do in the morning.
First thing I do, well, 5 dogs. Like, you got to make sure you're not. First thing you do is you're going out to the bathroom because if not, you're going to have a mess. So first thing is taking the dogs out. That's the first move every day. But then I'm a gym guy every morning. So that's how I start my day. Gym every single day. That's how I start it. Gym, sauna, shower. Let's go to work.
Love it. Okay. That was the hot seat you survived. That was rapid fire. Now we go into the final thing. And I know this matters to you too. And for me, it's just about giving back. This whole project is all about, when I was a kid, there was no resource to hear from people that were like me. I was different, right? Like there wasn't a path that made sense to me. So I started this project as literally as a means to give back. And if I hope a kid bumps into it that says, oh, I like Dan, and hear from you. So this is the providing value kind of part of this project, which is what advice would you give to somebody today that said, you know what, I want to go into become a lawyer?
One, make sure that you want to do it for the right reasons. Do not go into it just to make money. The lawyer game used to be where you were making a lot different money than you are now. There's a lot of lawyers that aren't making good money. There's a lot of lawyers who hate what they do. Do not do it for money. Do not chase money. If you have a passion for it, make sure that you're getting in and interning at a place and seeing it, feeling it, and it's something that you want to do every single day, because you might make money at it, but if you hate it, it's not worth it. And so I think that's a big part of it. And then the other part of it is the game's changed. It's not the old white man's game anymore. Like that's not where we're at anymore. And I love that. I don't want to play in that old stuffy books. You got to wear a suit every day. Like, I think I've been successful because I just truly own who I am. No facade. Here's what you get. I'm coming with the Bulldogs. I'm rocking my J's every day. Like I don't care. Like, that is going to be me. I used to be a little insecure about it. I need to be in a suit. I need to be in a tie. And then I just got to a place where I'm like, it's not me. Like, and I'm not going to roll how I'm not. And so I've just owned it. We built a brand around it, and it's worked. And I do think that people have good intuition, and they can smell out bullshit, and they can smell out facade, and they can smell out sales. And if you just are you, it all falls into place. And you're going to be happy because you're owning who you are. And so many people don't. And it's just like, to me, that's like a life cancer. You just going through your life with someone that you're not.
And authenticity is so important today. It doesn't matter. And by the way, if your authentic self is wearing a suit, then rock it, right? Like 100%. That's amazing. But if 100%. It's not, right? Like for me, I like to wear bright, as you know, I wear bright colors. I wear pinks. I wear greens. That's me, right? I love being bright. And
your pink shirt got us in a fight.
I didn't know we were going to go there, Dan, but it was solved. It was a problem that we solved. But yes, pink shirts cause attention, and I enjoy bright colors, but same thing, right? When I got to the NFL, nobody wore bright colors in 2010 in the NFL. They wore polo shirts, black, blue, red. That was it, right? Like those are, and I walk in and I'm like, oh God, I don't even own one of those. What do I do? The insecurity, right? That sort of like imposter syndrome creeps in. You're like, literally, I didn't even have shoes to wear because all my shoes were outrageous. And I'm like, and within 24 hours, I was back to wearing, but I had that insecurity too. It's like scary to look at. And I think that's one of the biggest things you could teach kids is like, understand who you are. Like, and as you get older, you learn that it's more important to be you than trying to fit in to be everybody else.
Well, in 2 points to that, one on you, I have no doubt. I know you are fantastic at what you do in your company, and that's why you've been so successful. But I think another big reason why you've been so successful is you are unapologetically Wayne at all times. And you own you, and you're comfortable in your own skin, and people want to be around that. Like, there's a law of an attraction to that where you don't have to spend a whole lot of time with Wayne to go, I want to be friends with Wayne. Like, that's the way that it is.
I appreciate it. But
the reality.
But it wasn't always like that. Like, I don't know. Like,
you have to grow into that, and you have to grow into that comfort zone. And I think that was my follow-up point was I was really insecure for a long time, like constantly like, well, what's this person going to think or what's they're going to think? And then you get to a point where you're like, life is short and I don't care. Like that everyone's the center of their own universe. No one is really spending that much time worrying about you. So why are you worrying about them and what they think about you? And I think once you have that realization, the whole world changes.
Yeah. And, I had a job that was very public. Your job is very public by choice, right? You've made yourself very public, but I worked for a sports team. So I was very public. And it took me a little bit. I got a lot of hate and I learned to understand it, listen to it, but not let it affect my belief in the strategy that we were rolling out. When I was failing at my job is when I was trying to react to the reactions, right? Instead of confidently believing in the strategy that I had and convincing my bosses that the strategy was right and that we were going to keep going forward on it. And that's when we started to win as a brand, right? Was when we were like, we're going to follow the data. We're going to do what's right, as opposed to, and as a young person, I would look back on my life and it's like, if if you're chasing reactions and reacting to reactions is when you fail. But when you're confidently you and go after that strategy, it's when you win. So love that.
Agree.
Okay.
Agree.
Would you change anything about your career?
I started my career at another personal injury office, and I knew early on it wasn't the right fit for me. But I didn't have the security and I didn't have the confidence that I do now. And I knew that I probably should have left and made a jump earlier. I didn't. And I was kind of forced to after I found out certain things. And I always look back and I'm like, I shouldn't have gotten to that point. Like, I should have listened to my intuition. I should have listened to my heart. I should have made the move earlier. Life works out. It's worked out well. It's worked out well for me. So you can't really go back and play that change game. But I always know deep down, like I should have made the jump a little earlier. Such is life. Here we are.
Yeah, no, that's a good one too. But for a young person, is that like, you shouldn't jump immediately, right? Like I remember my wife had a job that she hated and she knew it was bad. She knew it wasn't for her. She was like, I'm going to stick it out for the year because I got to see it through to just make sure I'm not wrong. But I don't need to stick it out for 2. Like it was like, I'm going to get to that 1 year mark. I'm going to commit to myself to just give it a shot. And, I think that's great advice because, you're right. When you look back, you go, and one of the things that I've found is that the name on the door or the name on the shirt or the bulldog on the building doesn't matter. It's the people that you're working with and for, and whether you believe in them as humans and you believe in their principles and whether they're giving back to you to make you better, especially with young folks. Like if the people around you are investing in you to make you better, it's a great place to be.
For sure. And if you're in the opposite, where you're in a situation where you're surrounded by people that they're doing things that you're not okay with, that's an extension of you and your reputation and your name, and you better make a move, because if not, it's gonna shade on you as well. And I think a lot of people find themselves in that position and they don't know what to do. And I urge everyone, make that move, pull that trigger sooner than later, make that jump. It's not worth it.
All right, last question, because that's a negative question and I always end on a positive. You got to end on a happy one and a great. And I ask everybody the same question is, what's the best part of your day, your job? Like, what's the best thing you get that like makes you the happiest?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy. I mean, bro, like I roll into work with 5 bulldogs every day. Like it is a circus. Like I'm unloading them. They're all running into the office. They scatter. This one runs straight upstairs because she knows she's going to get cheese from all the lawyers. Like, it's chaos. And I just sit there with the biggest smile on my face. How is this my life? Like, how have we gotten here where this is my life? And that's the best part. Like, we
should also note they're not getting out of like a pickup truck. Like, they're getting out of luxurious vehicles too, which is my favorite part.
Yeah, people are like, you're rolling around in a Rolls Royce with the dogs. I'm like, damn straight I am. Like, if I'm rolling in it, the dogs are rolling in it. Like it's I've built my life around all the things that I love, and that's what I urge everyone to do. But that's more important than money. That is like true happiness, is like being able to build your life around all the things that you absolutely love in this life. And these guys mean so much to me. So that's the best part.
Dan, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and sharing with us and, the success you've had. I told you I was a fan from afar. I'm really excited now that I'm a fan from way closer. And thank you for taking some time to share with all of us.
Of course, man. I got to get a picture so I can post it, give you some love. So hold on, let me figure out how I can screenshot this. All right. 1, 2, 3. And we're good.
You got it? Awesome, man. Thank you so much. And we will talk soon.